June 9, 2025. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. There was no economic data that came out no economic data that came out to really move the market. Today was very, very slow. The volume was very low, and the volatility wasn't that high either. I only found maybe one setup, and I did take a trade on another setup that was, I think, a little riskier, but I'll get to it. It was right here. It was profitable. But other than that, there wasn't really that many setups that I could find. Might be just that it's going into summer, so things are just really slow, plus no economic data. So in the pre-market, it sold off, made one leg down, bounced a second leg down, then it kind of rallied on this orange up channel. No real trades here. Then it opens. It was kind of sideways choppy, and I found this green down channel that kind of fit, but there was really no setups here as well. Kind of consolidated at the bottom briefly, and then it made first entry short, pull back, create a second entry short here, but the second entry short isn't a good setup because it's a break of this green down channel. It broke to the low side and now has an overshoot on this side. So when you see this candle, although it's a decent signal bar, you're going to run into this EMA, which is a little bit hard to know right now if this EMA is going to be a factor. So I didn't want to take a trade there. So I'd be looking for a lower high, ideally below the EMA, and you don't get that. So it kind of moves sideways and consolidates, creates a new high here, say first entry long, pullback, creates a second entry long here. This is your signal bar to go second entry long. You could argue maybe there's a triple test, but this isn't a good signal bar. The follow through is pretty nice, except this is actually a really narrow trading range. You're really close to the high. I mean, you're close enough to the high that you're thinking you're going to hit this potential top of the range. Then price is kind of chopped around. Initially, I was playing this purple up channel, and I wasn't really quite sure what I was looking at. It kind of broke sideways and then pushed up, creates a new high. It's a first entry long, pullback, creates a second entry long. Signal bar for second entry long isn't very reassuring. Below the EMA, pushes down, kind of has a break depending on how you looked at it. Keep in mind, I don't have this red transparent channel drawn yet. I didn't even have this as a trend line support. Creates a new low. It's a first entry short, pullback. Technically, I have a second entry short, but more of a visual first entry, second entry. You could argue maybe there's a trade here because it did move one tick up and then flushed down, closed really strongly. But I also saw it as two legs, so it kind of helps the case if you see it as two legs. Push one up, pull back, exceeds the measure move. So actually, I should have marked this as probably a second entry short. The only thing that really helps it, the second entry short, is that it closed below the EMA and closed pretty strongly. So this is a possible trade here. Then it creates a first entry long, pullback, second entry long, second entry long. I actually tried to take this trade. I saw the break of this red up channel. It's like one attempt. This was the second attempt, and then it failed. So the second attempt failed. I'm thinking the test of this extreme might not be here. Keep in mind, I don't have this red trend line support drawn. So I was thinking this could actually press down. So I want to see a break below here. It opens, it pushes up, so it doesn't look like it's going to break. Then it finally breaks. I drop in my order right here, and it never comes back for me because once it moved past 1 point, then I cancel the order because I feel the trade has gone on without me. Plus the ATR was pretty low today, and the price action was really low, so I wasn't really aiming for 2 points. So I left it alone. You can see it probably would have worked. And prices continue. It looks like there's kind of a triple test, maybe a support here, but I couldn't justify taking a trade here because it's a first entry pullback. Depending on how you count it, maybe a second entry here, or is a first entry pullback, second entry, technically a third or fourth entry, triple test, but triple test off of something that's confirmed here, something that's confirmed here. It's a little iffy here. So I want to see a higher low. And you get a higher low right here, but it's above the EMA and it's a red candle. So I'm not too keen on this. I did see this as a new low, first entry short, second entry short, second entry short failure. I like that this candle engulfed it, but I couldn't get past the fact that there's some kind of resistance here because it tried 2 times to break above. And this third time, it also failed to break above. So that gave me pause. In this case, it would have worked. Looks like it's a failed breakout of this potential resistance. EMA is acting as some kind of support. Double top here, flushes down. You have first entry long. You could technically say it's a first entry, second entry, but I reset the count here. It's a first entry long. And then you get a second entry, but it's a second entry with an inside bar, so I don't like that. Chops around, it starts moving up this yellow up channel, and it breaks out the pre-market resistance right here. Keeps going, breaks above this yellow up channel that I've drawn, so it's an overshoot here. Technically, you have a first entry, and then you don't get a second entry till way down here below the EMA. This isn't a setup. This is just a second entry that just happens to be there, but there's no setup, nothing going for it. Pushes up, hits this resistance here. I'm thinking I'm in a trading range potentially here of a failed breakout. The first entry long, pull back. I saw this as a triple test, but I didn't like that it was a doji. And it's a triple test on a clearly bullish day. So I don't want to be shorting into this kind of gradual move up because it's making kind of on a bigger scale, higher lows every time. So it looks like the bias is going bullish. If only the triple test was down here on the low side, then I'd be more willing to take a trade. But it also has, the low side has this weird overshoot. So I was wondering if the range is potentially down here, but it only has really one confirmation. So I was actually playing it as something like right here and treating this as an overshoot. So saw this as a triple test. I didn't want to take it. This potential lower high is coming up, but doesn't have a good signal bar. Plus, the EMA is coming up as support now. The first entry long pullback. Technically, have a second entry long potential right here, but it's also an inside bar. It looks like it would have worked, but I just didn't like it. It's kind of jumping, pushes back down, breaks to the low side, failed breakout, comes back up, creates a second entry short potential and a potential triple test of this higher potential resistance. So it's a first entry short, second entry short. I like to close the signal bar. I didn't like the follow through because one thing I was worried about the EMA acting as a resistance point. So I wanted to see how this one closed. It closed bearish, but still above the EMA. If it broke below the EMA, then I would give it a potential of potentially moving back down to the low side because it did have a failed breakout or breakout of this orange up channel and test the high. It looks like also two legs. So here now I'm just looking for a lower high and I get my lower high. So this is the one and only trade that I took. So I saw this as, and in hindsight, I think it was a little more aggressive than I should have been. It's coming from the high side of this range. It is counter trend trading, but it closed nicely. So it's a first entry short, second entry short, push up, full rejection, strong signal bar close. It is potentially selling into the low of this range. But again, I wasn't sure if this is actually the range maybe down here. So it was a little bit of a risk I was taking because I like the signal bar close so much. As you can see, I entered one tick below. I also saw as a first entry long pullback, second entry long failure, successful break of this down channel. So if you didn't take it here, there's a potential you could take it here. But again, now I'm wondering if the true bottom of the range could potentially be here or maybe here. But I saw, okay, if I didn't take this trade here, there's a potential here, at least for 1 point scalp. And as you can see, I took the 1 point scalp and I tried to move my runner from stop here to 1 tick below break even. And it got stopped out. And it kind of chops sideways, pushes back in, kind of chops, looks like it's kind of moving sideways again. It's a first entry short, second entry short, second entry short. I didn't like that it closed right at the EMA. If it closed right at the bottom, I think I would have marked it. It was a first entry long pullback, second entry long failure. This does create a double bottom, so there's no real, you could say maybe it's a visual first entry, second entry, and then a lower high. I just didn't like the way the signal bar closed. Plus, it's really late in the day now. Now, total price action was very slow, so I wasn't trying to swing for anything to try to get any extra profit. Prices continue moving down. I saw this. I thought it was a really good setup. Unfortunately, this is too late in the day. It's the first entry short, second entry short, break of this green down channel. You're expecting a test of the low, good signal bar, pushed up, rejection by EMA. This, had it occurred earlier in the day, I think this is a trade worth taking. Then kind of pushes into the close. So definitely kind of a slow day, slow, low volatility day. I kind of looked at the charts from last week because I didn't trade last week. I was out on holiday. and it didn't seem like I missed too much, so I don't have too much FOMO for not getting any trades done. So hopefully that was helpful.